I meant was, you got yourself so wrapped up in something you can't get unwound. And you won't talk to me, so...
I told you, things are working themselves out.
You mean you hope they're working out? If you were sure, you wouldn't be so uptight. See? I know you pretty well, don't I?
You think so?
I know so, lady.
But you do me a favor. Don't call me lady.
Why, because you're not one?
No. Because that term is out of date. You need your consciousness raised.
Oh, no. Most women who live in a place like this are ipso facto ladies.
Do I qualify?
Come close.
Come on. I'm saying it. Tell me.
Got a couple hours?
As long as it takes.
You couldn't have me.
Try me.
Well, do you want how they say the unvarnished truth?
How could I benefit from anything less?
Hey, I need this job.
You really think that badly of me?
No, as a matter of fact, Dorian, I don't think badly of you at all. It's just that, no, actually, I kind of admire you.
But you don't think that I'll admire your description of me.
Right.
Mom, I guarantee that whatever you say in the next 10 minutes, you will not lose your job, and nothing will be held against you.
Including your fair white body?
You're changing the subject. How about it?
Why do you want to know?
Because I want to improve myself, and how can I improve if I don't know my faults?
Isn't that what the shrink's for?
But he's not very good, and he lies on purpose. Got his own reasons. Anyway, come on. Maybe afterwards you'll get a reward.
Now I was changing the subject. All right. For starters, Dr. Mrs. Lord, you're carrying what is probably one of the all-time great grudges.
Against whom?
The world. Why, I don't know, considering what you wound up with, but it's there. And it's got you miserable and all tied up in knots, trying to figure out a way to work out of it, trying to find targets big enough for your revenge. You with me so far?
I'm with you.
That's good. And we'll actually get somewhere. All right, where was I? Revenge, the world, okay. Well, it shows, Dorian. That thing you've got burning up inside you, that's the reason you're all alone. People sense that. They're afraid of that flamethrower of yours. They're afraid that you will turn it on them. You're very attractive and very intelligent, and probably because of the fire you've got inside you, you're just terrific in bed. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give you a 9. I don't give 10s.
I'm flattered.
Wait a minute, I'm not finished. You're a very interesting woman, Dorian. Complex. You said you're very attractive. But you're full of surprises, and not all of them are good ones. Therefore, you're not the type of woman a man should fall in love with. Well, of course, you've told me that you're not interested in that.
That's not true, Marco.
You mean you are?
I can be very much in love with the right person, and I will be. I can have a very fulfilling and happy life. You'll see.
Fine, I wish you all the best.
Your analysis was very good right up until the end. And then you revealed your arrogance, your insensitivity.
That it?
Isn't that enough?
you do. You plan on taking Miss Higgins.
I said I was tempted. I never said I was going. Joe, if I didn't know better, I think you were trying to get rid of me.
Ah, but you do know better, don't you? Think about it when you're done.
I'll think about it.
Good. Now, what have we got around here that's cold to drink?
I bought some fresh limes today. You want some limeade?
No.
I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Doc. You must think I'm crazy, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, you took the words right out of my mouth, Mr.
Abbot. I'm a reporter for the Banner. I've got some identification here. Here it is.
All right, now, what is all this about lives being at stake?
Can we go inside, sir? This is a very urgent matter, and I have to really get to work on it right away.
Come in, sir.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, good. Thank you, Jenny.
I don't think we should wake her up.
No, I'm sorry, Jenny. Mr. Abbott. The reporter on the Banner. Mr. Abbott, Mrs. Siegel.
Hi. You're a nurse, Mrs. Siegel?
Yes.
Well, then you can stay. I've got a list here of all the diseases caused indirectly or directly by polluted water.
Oh, must be quite a list.
Now, for example, I have malaria. Malaria is caused by the Anopheles mosquito, which breeds in stagnant water.
I am aware of that, Mr. Abbott.
That's right, you would be. Well, anyway, what I need for the job I'm doing, the story I'm doing is, well, you see, I'm taking water samples from the river, starting about, 10 miles upstream from Landview and working down. I'm having those water samples analyzed at a laboratory. And what I'd like from you is I'd like to go over the hospital records to see how many of those diseases you've treated and how that compares to the national average. You with me, Doc?
Oh, I'm with you, Mr. Abbott, but I'm afraid I can't help you.
Well, why not?
Patient files are confidential. I can't just give you access to them.
Well, how about just give me some raw numbers, like 4 cases of typhoid July, for example?
Somebody's going to have to dig those numbers out.
Maybe Mrs. Siegel will volunteer to do that.
Oh, well, if I
Mr.
have the
Abbott,
time, I guess.
I tell you what you do. Why don't you give me a call someday during business hours, and we'll see what we can work out.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
I assure you, nothing earth-shaking is going to happen. People have been drinking that river water and swimming in it for as long as they...
You have no idea what's going in the junk that's pouring into that river. I'll take you down there and show you.
Call me one day next week, will you?
Oh, call you?
Yes, we're in the book.
How about tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning will be just fine.
All right, thank you, Doctor. I like you and I trust you.
Good, thank you, Mr.
Nice meeting you, Mrs. Siegel.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Anyone ever tell you you're a really good-looking woman? It was nice meeting you both. Thanks for your time, and I'll call you tomorrow morning.
Goodbye, Mr. Abbott.
So long.
So long. Look, that
I
guy.
told you everything I know. He works on the Banner.
Are you sure?
Showed me his credentials.
Well, as my dad used to say, he certainly does raise a cloud of dust.
Right.
You think he'll call you in the morning?
Does the sun rise in the east? Well, look at this time. I've got to get changed.
Oh, me too.
After you, Mrs. Siegel.
Thank you.
Say, did anyone ever tell you that you are a really good-looking woman?
Oh, shucks, Doctor, you're just saying that. Well, the company's coming at 7, right?
It's only 6:30, baby.
Oh, but I'm going to get dressed or anything. Look, I tell you, you go over the menu, all right, while I finish stuff.
Man, you're really going to have all this for dinner?
Sure, why not?
Escargot Chablisien?
Mm-hmm. I got the recipe from the chef at Tony's place last time we ate there.
Oh, veal cordon bleu.
The entree with little brown potatoes next to it. And then I thought I'd have this wild Belgian vegetable called salsify.
Yeah? That's for dessert. You get Carrie's Jubilee.
Ta-da! thought I would put it on one of the chafing dishes that we had that we had at the wedding.
Yeah.
And I'd go put some brandy in the kitchen, bring it in flaming on the tray. And if you get inspired, then you can put some music on to sort of accent the event.
Something like, I don't want to set the world on fire?
I just want to put it flaming.
Oh, you did that.
Why? Because I could make gourmet dishes?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It really isn't that hard, you know. All I had to do was follow the directions. Of course, it took me almost all day, but I didn't have to much else.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking I just might be the reincarnation of the world-famous chef. Think that's possible?
Oh, sure, why not?
I don't know. I think that probably all famous chefs were men. Is it possible to be reincarnated from a male to a female? Well, but why don't you put a bottle of brandy in the kitchen? Open it up for me, okay? I'm going to go get dressed. Would you like a little music?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Beethoven. Your favorite, I might have known.
Well, he's a lot of people's favorite.
I don't know. I still go for Spike Jones myself.
Oh, yeah, you always pretend to be so anti-intellectual. It's not true. I'll get it. Hello. Viki? Dorian, I'm very sorry to bother you at home like this.
Don't bother at all, Dorian. What can I do for you?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you whether you and Kevin might like to come up and spend the day tomorrow around the pool. It's been so terribly hot, and so
Dorian, it's very thoughtful of you, but I'm afraid I have 1,000 things to do tomorrow. It is beastly hot, though, isn't it?
I don't even like to stick my head outside.
Well, why don't you take a couple of weeks and go up to the cottage at the lake?
Oh, no, I turned that over to you for the summer. I wouldn't want to be known as an Indian giver.
You don't use it.
Hadn't you planned to?
Well, funny, because we were discussing it, but I don't think we will, actually, because it's so difficult for Joe to get away for any length of time.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, if you change your mind about coming up for a swim tomorrow...
I will let you know. Thank you again, Dorian. Good night.
Yes, good night. She's not going to the lake. If she had any real intention, she wouldn't have offered the cottage to me. And if she stays here with Joe, sooner or later he's going to tell her the truth about his condition, and then...
Those escargot, I must say, best I've ever tasted. What did you say you called them?
Chablisian.
Chablisienne.
Actually, that's fancy name for taking your basic butter and garlic sauce and putting a little Chablis wine.
Ah.
Yes, an old family recipe. We used to have it all the time down at the farm. Well, Mom is a good cook, but...
Those nails, though.
No. But until you taste her fried chicken and potato salad, you just haven't lived.
Is it worth a trip to Oklahoma?
Oklahoma's worth a trip to Oklahoma. Shall we now all stand and sing a chorus? It's 8, so all right.
Jenny, I think you and I should stand and make our departure.
Oh.
I'm sorry, kids. I hate to be the one to break up the party, but I do have an early day.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, tell Anna that we missed her and we hope she'll feel better.
Thank you, dear. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Good. Karen, it was wonderful. Oh, Jenny, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. Really great. It's fine. We'll do it again.
Thank you. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You.
Ah!
That was great.
Really?
Oh, it was
It was all right.
perfect. I'm telling you, perfect.
Perfect. On my first try.
First trip. Wow, you've been cooking for me all this time.
Well, that doesn't count. That's company or a dinner party. Hey, we should entertain more often.
If you like to, sure. Want me to clean up some of this mess?
No. Let's save it for the morning.
You got some other project in mind?
Yeah, working on it right now. It's called, trying to be a better wife to you.
wearing my shirt?
They look cute in it.
Sure do.
Are you ready to go?
As soon as my driver gets here. What's wrong with Kevin?
Oh, he's hot and he's cranky. It's going to be a scorcher today.
Well, in that case, why don't you scoop Kevin up, get in the car, and drive up to the lake?
Just like that?
Sure, why not?
If I did, would you keep your promise?
What?
To come up every weekend and some Mondays and Fridays?
Right. That is, nothing unforeseen happens.
No, that's no good. It would have to be a total cataclysm.
Well, what is your definition of a cataclysm?
Well, cataclysm is what kids study in Sunday school. No, a cataclysm is World War III or an earthquake. That's it.
All right, how about a power failure in the press room?
Well, you couldn't do any good. You can't even put a lamp back together again.
True. All right, I'll tell you what. If you and Kevin drive up to the lake today, I'll come up on Friday. How's that?
I don't have the feeling you're trying to get rid of me. There's AJ's voice.
All right, see you Friday.
You are trying to get rid of me. Joe? Darling? Everything's all right, isn't it?
Well, sure it is, sweetheart. Do you think I'd let you and Kevin go up to the lake alone if it wasn't? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to phone here in 2 hours. If anybody answers, I'm going to hang up.
All right, I'll go.
Good.
I'll see you Friday, and don't you forget, all right?
Have a nice time.
Hey, Piggy, how would you like to go to the lake for a few weeks?
And a couple of phone calls and messages are over here on your desk.
Anything urgent?
No, but that guy Grant called. He sounds kind of nasty.
We'll be by about noon.
Yeah, that's right. Must be him.
Well, would you show him anything?
Hey, tell me, who is this guy anyhow?
He's a lawyer for the Law Foundation.
Big deal, huh? This is Lord. Grant. Good morning, Mr. Grant. I'm Marco Dane. I'm Mrs. Lord's administrative assistant. Step this way, please. She's in the study. Right here. Mr. Grant, Mrs. Lord.
Bill, how are you?
Frankly, Dorian, I've been better.
Oh, dear. I smell an air of crisis in that.
Well, I got a call this morning from counsel from the Dorax company. Dorax? It's a plastics manufacturing. The plant's down by the river. It's one of the holdings of the Lord Foundation. What's the problem?
Martha, don't you have some calls that you have to make for me? You may use the phone in the library.
Of course. Nice to have met you, Mr. Grant. Yeah, thank you.
Bill, please sit down.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to bother you with this, Dorian, but I think that you're the only one who can clear it up. It seems there's a reporter from the Banner who's snooping around the Dorax plant, or to be more precise, along the river, above and below the plant.
And?
Well, as you know, Dorax has to dispose of several 100,000 gallons of industrial waste every day the plant operates.
Oh, so we are polluting the river.
No, everything is legal. We got a variance from the city when the plant was built on the grounds that it was too expensive to alleviate the problem.
But the story would look bad if it appeared in the paper.
Not to mention a picture of a 48-inch sewer pipe emptying into the river on the 6 o'clock news on your television station.
Who's the reporter?
Oh, he's a young fellow by the name of Richard Abbot. Must be new.
I should have known.
Are you acquainted with him?
Unfortunately, yes. Bill, you're not going to have to worry. There will be no story in the paper and nothing on the 6 o'clock news. I will personally take care of Mr. Abbott.
Come on in, Kathy. Karen, I got company. You have lunch?
No, Larry, but I don't want to impose. Look, really, I'm just on my way to the cottage to take some last measurements.
Stop it. It's no one's position. Karen? Uh-huh. Gone to the health club, iced tea, and sandwich in the refrigerator.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $100.
You know what they say? Where there's one sandwich, there's usually makings for two.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, all the time. How are you on tuna fish?
Oh, I'm a very large tuna fish person.
Yeah, you don't look it.
It's the makeup I'm wearing.
Grab the iced tea, will you? Sure missed a nice dinner last night.
That's what I hear.
According to Dad and Jenny, it was a giant success.
Oh, yeah.
Larry, I'm sorry. I just didn't feel like going out last night. In fact, I had to drag myself out of bed to come out to the cottage this afternoon. I'm glad I ran into you. It's kind of taken my mind off everything.
Everything what?
Well, haven't you heard? I thought it would be all over town by now.
What?
Having lunch yesterday at the press box with Lana. We ran into each other at Logan. Well, a reporter from the Chronicle came up to the table and started asking me all sorts of questions. What was my life like now that I was out of the hospital? Did I have any remorse for the things that I had done?
Oh, boy.
Well, fortunately, a young man intervened. I thought there was going to be quite a scene there for a moment, but then the reporter did leave, and everything quieted down.
Well, wasn't it pretty embarrassing, though, standing there in a crowded restaurant with everyone staring at you?
Yeah. It's more than that, Larry. I don't know. Ever since he asked me those questions, I just can't seem to shake the feeling that he had every right to ask the questions. I have not given a satisfactory answer as to why I did those things. I have not been punished.
What, Kathy?
Well, that is true, Larry, isn't it?
Listen to me. You stop that. You're being too hard on yourself.
Am I?
Yeah.
I wish I could believe that.
Well, you should. I mean, you talk about punishment. Haven't you suffered enough?
I guess not, if I'm being such a masochist. All right, you explain to me, why do these things affect me so much?
Hey, listen to me, Kathy. These things take time, and things like that, they're going to happen. We talked about this, you remember? And you got to promise me, you're not going to let this get you down.
Dropping by.
It's my pleasure.
Sit down, please.
Thank you. What's the crisis?
In one word. No, in two words. Richard Abbott.
What about him?
But you're aware that he's writing a story about water pollution?
Yeah, I read the first part of it. Good example of expository writing.
Well, wait till you hear this. Are you aware of the Dorax company?
Let's see, Dorax Plastics, right?
Yes, it's a subsidiary of the Lord Enterprises. Victor bought the company shortly before he died.
So I recall. What about it?
Well, your bull in the China Shop Reporter is about to publish a story that the Dorax company is in the river.
Are they polluting the river?
Bill Grant assures me that the whole operation is absolutely legal.
No, that's not the question I asked.
All right, they do discharge waste into the river, but they have a variance from the zoning board.
I see. In that case, Abbott does have his facts straight, then.
Yes, but it's going to make the Dorax company look very bad. Joe, you've got to tell him to lay off.
What do I tell him? That he's stepping on toes around this town that belong to you and some of the directors of the Dorax company?
I'm sure you'll think of a way to put it.
Oh, it's still a cover-up, isn't it?
Joe, you mean you're going to let the Banner print this story?
I'd let the Banner... anything that's factual, newsworthy, and to the public interest.
And just where does that leave the Dorax company?
A lot of cleaning up to do. So perhaps you better tell them to get on the stick, Dorian, so they have some answers ready when the story breaks. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's nothing else to discuss. I have an appointment downtown at 2 o'clock.
No, I don't think so.
I'll see myself in.
Thank you, Larry. Try.
Good.
I'll try to do better.
All right.
Larry?
Hi, honey, we're in here.
Hi. Did you get my note?
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, Kathy. Hi. Well, there's a tuna fish sandwich here just for you. Enjoy.
Stay?
No, I'm going to run. I've got a million things to do. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye, Kat.
Thank you. What's that all about?
Well, she was telling me about this rather unfortunate incident that occurred the other day with some reporter.
Well, she already has one analyst. Isn't that enough?
Maybe I wasn't analyzing her. She came to me. I happened to be around. Talked.
And I suppose the little cottage that she's renting right across the road is just a coincidence, too. Honey, listen. I'm afraid we're going to have to make it very clear to Kathy
What,
that...
that she's not welcome here?
I didn't say that. But the fact that we're so handy, and, or should I say you're so handy and so sympathetic, but
Think I should try to discourage her?
I think if you don't, she will practically move in. Joe, wait. You're right, of course. Handle the Abbot series any way you'd like.
I fully intend to.
Joe, I'm trying to apologize for being wrong. I didn't think this through clearly the way you did. Oh, I'm delighted that Viki has decided to go up to the cabin. I think it'll do her and Kevin a world of good.
Yes, and it will save me the necessity of making a lot of excuses when I have to go to New York.
By the way, I called Dr. Lucas, and your appointment is for a week from Thursday. The CAT scanner is available at that time.
Good, good. The sooner the better.
Absolutely, and then all of our worries will be over.
Yeah, I wish you were right, Dorian. Frankly, I don't know how much longer I can stand this. Not knowing when I'm going to fall on my face again, or how much more time I have left.
Oh, Joe, you have a whole lifetime ahead of you. I promise it. We're not going to let anything happen to you.
That's the kind of person you'd like to be.
Sure. I guess so. I'd like to have a house like Lansdowne someday to invite them to, full of all kinds of treasures.
You're telling me you want to be Dorian Lord?
Well?
Even though you know what kind of person she is?
I don't know how much more I can take. Not knowing when I'm going to fall flat in my face, not knowing how much time I have left. Oh, Marco?
Mr. Riley, Dorian, this just came for you.
I'll see you later, guys.
Yes, of course.
Don't you ever come into this house again without knocking first, do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Especially when Joe Riley's around, huh?
Well, at least Dorian doesn't seem to be unhappy.
Oh, come on, Karen. She's miserable and lonely, and she's not satisfied when she makes everyone else miserable and lonely. And all this meddling and interfering, that's all she's got to do.
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. If I had her kind of money and position, I certainly would be unhappy.
Baby Di, you got a lot of growing up to do. You haven't lived long enough or experienced enough to realize that money buys things, that's all.
Larry, if this is going to be the money can't buy happiness lecture, I've already heard it.
Maybe you can't believe it.
I know you can be unhappy with money or without money. But if I have to be unhappy, I'd rather be rich. I mean, it's a happier kind of unhappy.
Karen.
You know, sometimes I don't wonder why you're not out in the jungle somewhere treating natives for fish heads and bamboo shoots.
Yeah, instead I'm living here in a big house that I didn't want to live in, but I did to make you happy, and you're not happy at all, are you?
Of course I'm happy. I love you. Anyway, you're the one who asked me about my fantasies, remember?
Yeah, back to reality. I got to go to the hospital.
And the free clinic.
And the free clinic.
I even get bamboo shoots.
What are your plans today?
I don't know. So humid and hot. I thought I'd sit outside. But I wish we had a swimming pool so I could jump in it and cool off.
Why don't you call your friend Dorian Lord? I mean, there's a big pool of land view. I'm sure she'd be real happy to have you use it.
And if I did that, you'd get angry at me, wouldn't you? Anyway, I just remember the plumber's coming by. He has to figure out why we only get hot water sometimes.
Good. I'm getting a little tired of taking hot showers and suddenly turning cold. Hey, now that's what you can do to cool off. Take a hot shower. It'll soon turn cold. See you later.
Don't get smart with me, Marco.
Well, it's true, isn't it? You don't want to be bothered when Joe Riley's around.
Yes, that is true. It is your tone of voice that I'm objecting.
Well, I apologize. I'll try to remember to knock before entering from now on.
Don't just try. Do it.
Yes, ma'am.
That is enough, Marco.
Yeah, your lipstick's smeared. Unless, of course, you intended to wear it about a half an inch above your lip. So, Mrs. Riley's going to the country.
Yes, as a matter of fact, she is leaving this afternoon.
Not a moment too soon, huh?
Do I detect a slight tone of jealousy in your voice?
Me? Hardly. I'm not the jealous type, Dorian.
Or so you claim.
What if I were?
Well, if you were, I would just have to tell you that just because you went to bed a few times doesn't mean that you have any rights over me.
Oh, this is the, you'll never mean anything to me routine.
Exactly right.
Be careful, Dorian. Underneath all that arrogance, you are a woman with emotional and physical needs. And it's quite possible that our fooling around may lead to something. Maybe even dependence. Listen, never take the money off the table until the dice have stopped rolling. I'm any different